G'day and welcome back to Space Engineers DIC expansion. I'll explain that monstrosity in a second, but first I need to apologize about last video. So in case you hadn't noticed, I was extremely tired and cranky by the end of that. The recording session for that episode was approaching 6 hours, and yeah, it took its toll on me. So all the changes that I had to make to this, to only find out that even this layout doesn't work properly with the large grid drills, waiting for the hydrogen tanks to fill up, like it all added up. So in case you didn't notice, I took, when we went to the moon, I did 3 laps around there before I finally found the gold mine. I was so excited that I started mining it out, and after completely clearing out that vein, mining it all up, I came back with a measly 57,000 gold. 57,000 gold. My dick has more gold in it than that fucking vein did. It just, yeah, really pissed me off. So I obviously misunderstood how the mod was meant to work. I thought we were going to get a massive deposit like we did over there for the iron. Like that vein over there is like 800 meters long. So I thought they will all be like that. So I didn't mind spending the extra time trying to find it because I thought it was going to pay off in the end. But yeah, so it didn't, and it pissed me off. I've taken that mod off, the procedurally generated ores. And we're just running with the scarce resources mod. So we'll still have to go to the moon to find gold, but it's not going to be that rare anymore. We'll be able to find it a little bit easier. So just before I started recording, I took the ship up to the moon again to test it to make sure all the deposits were going to be okay, and I didn't have to start the fucking series again on a new map. And everything's reverted to the scarce resources mod, so I don't need to start a new world. I've already found the basic resources that we had last time. So we've got some iron, silicon, magnesium, I believe that's nickel. Yeah, nickel, and then we've got cobalt over the back there. And I found some silver in an asteroid just directly above us. And I went over to the moon and found some gold as well. I wanted to see how big the deposit was. I started mining it. I came back with 300,000 gold, and that vein is still not finished. So I don't know what the fucking go is with that, but yeah. Whatever, I don't care. It's going to be a lot better. So before we discuss that monstrosity, there's something we need to do, because I stopped the refineries from refining the gold because I only wanted enough to make 120 superconductors. So as soon as I made those 120, I stopped the refineries. So what we can do is remove all these other modules here and put pure yield modules on there. So let's get that started. Perfect timing, the sun's just coming up. So we'll get rid of all those. We're going to lose out on power efficiency and speed, but I want to make sure we get the most out of the gold that we've got. Because the yield return for gold is 0.8%. So to put that another way, for every 1,000 kilograms of gold that I put into the refinery, I'm going to get 8 kilograms of gold ingots back, which is pathetic. So we need as many yield modules on here as possible. All right, so we need 20 superconductors per yield module, which is why I made sure that we had 120. So we can put 6 more on each. So that will bump up our effectiveness. What are we missing? Oh no, that's right. Yeah, they don't do 100% per each, so it'll double it. So instead of getting 8 back, we'll get 16 kilograms back, which is still pathetic, but it's a lot better. So now we can start those refineries back up again. And they can start working on the gold and the silver. I do want to start this guy off. Production. So I forgot that we had access to the tiered hydrogen thrusters. Only the tier 4 requires these injectors, and we're going to be using them. So they require a bit of silver. So let's start making some of those. If we queue up 100, Izzy should be able to realize that we want to have those being automatically crafted, and it should add it to this list. All right, now on to the main thing here. Okay, so due to the way that large grid drills work, the only way you can get a large grid miner to work is to place them like this, right next to each other without any sort of style or anything. Just fucking slap it down a massive drill wall. Why the fuck was it designed like that? Like, small grid drills, that's fine. You can have a little gap in between each one, so you can actually make something look unique and interesting. Can't do the same with the large grid ones though. They only drill out their one block that they're in. So when I was mining with this thing, I would have to jiggle it about while I was going forwards to make sure that there was no voxels being left inside here, which would eventually stop me from moving or potentially damage those reversing thrusters. So it was extremely difficult to mine with it. So I've opted for this, just a massive fucking wall. And in order to have reversing thrusters, we need to leave a space, obviously, so we don't damage anything in front of them. Now, for a large hydrogen thruster, we need 7 blocks of space. So we've got 7 there, and that's what this orange indicates. Anything placed in this area will get disintegrated from those thrusters. The white ring around the outside is it's basically a gap around the outside of the ship. So I don't want the ship to extend past that line. So I want to make sure there's a little bit of a gap around the entire ship, because I noticed with this that even though like it could tunnel through, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room, because these things, they only drill out just enough space for itself. If I had to move around or turn or something, it was extremely difficult. So I don't want to fall into that trap again. And I've abandoned the idea of being able to maneuver in inside the tunnel. What we're going to do is we're going to set this up in a way where we bore straight into our ore deposit and then we back straight out. That's it. We don't bother fucking turning around or anything. So it doesn't matter how long the ship is, because we're just going to go straight in and out. Okay, so there's a couple of downsides we've got here. Number one, with the amount of drills that we've got, it's increased the mass of the ship dramatically. It is currently weighing in at 1.5 million kilograms. And you can see that it is mostly because of the drills, because there is the center of mass right there. So we need quite a bit of thrust to lift it. On On top of that, I do have a large cargo container, which has the potential of carrying 1.26 million liters. Now, a liter of ore weighs 2.7 kilograms. So this has the potential of carrying 3.4 million kilograms of ore, plus the 1.5 million of the ship. And on top of that, each one of these drills has the potential to carry 70,000 liters. Which is, I think I worked it out to be about 1.5 million kilograms of ore just in the drills alone. So all of that equates to about 7 million kilograms fully loaded. Now that is, that's a pretty heavy ship. To counteract that, we're going to need around 65 to 70 meganewtons of force. Now, a large hydrogen thruster can produce 7.2 meganewtons of thrust. However, we're going to go with the tiered ones. They're nowhere near as efficient. Not that vanilla hydrogen thrusters are efficient, but they're even worse. But they do provide a lot more thrust, which will allow us to lift the weight without having to place 1 million thrusters, basically. So at the moment, the tier 2, this one here, can produce 24 meganewtons of thrust. So we've got 2 of them currently, which is going to be 48 meganewtons of thrust. So obviously we need some more. For these ones here, I'm going for the tier 4s. So these use the large hydrogen injectors. You can see on the right hand side there. But these small ones here can produce 14.4 meganewtons of thrust. So we're going to have 8 of them. We don't actually need this thing here, so I might remove it, and that will allow us to do a little bit of greebling or maybe place something else. I don't know. We're going to need a lot of fuel on this. We're not going to be able to do the same thing we did with this one, where we just have enough hydrogen generators to produce the hydrogen we need for the thrusters to consume it. We're not going to be able to fit enough O2, H2 generators in here to do that. So I've opted to store a lot more fuel if I can. So currently we've got 9 hydrogen tanks. Now let's have a look at one of those large hydrogen thrusters. They consume 40 cubed meters of hydrogen. I'm not sure if that's every second or, yeah, but it's quite a lot. In fact, if it is every second, that means it's consuming 40,000 liters a second, and it would empty one of these tanks in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. If the thruster was on fully for 2 minutes and 5 seconds, it'll consume a whole tank. Now, we're not going to be able to see anything when we mine. So it's going to just reinforce the fact that we just need to go straight in and straight out. No turning. If we miss the vein, we've got to back out of the hole and replunge. All right, so if we've got 8 of those small ones producing 14.4 meganewtons of thrust, we're going to have 115. We need about 65 to 70 to counteract the effects of gravity on this planet here, which is the main concern I have. being in space and being on the moon and stuff like that, we need a lot less, obviously. So yeah, we don't need this large one at all, and I'm thinking about removing it. We could potentially just put a tank there. And then we can remove this one here. Actually, can we? Yeah, everything's connected. Just want to make sure those drills don't fall on the ground after I do this. And then we change this to a 4-way connector. Yeah, cross section like that. And then we'll do a straight section down like that. There we go. So those tanks are all connected up to the main line that runs back into the cargo system and all the other hydrogen tanks and everything. So we need a little bit more reverse thrust. I'm thinking about adding four of these tier 4 thrusters, and they only need a gap of 3 in between blocks, so we could essentially build them here. So another thing I needed to do is I need lots and lots of sorters and connectors ejecting stone out. So I wonder if we do that out the sides here. Maybe down the bottom. Have just like a massive row of sorters and then connectors that keep spitting out stone down here. Because one of the things I didn't like about this is because it was on the back like that, if I was nose down drilling, which I was in most circumstances, the stone would flick up and then come back down and hit me. Now that doesn't do any damage anymore, but what it was doing is it was weighing down the ship and it was throwing it off as well. So it was like sort of turning the ship depending on where it landed. So if I can try to eject them out and keep them clear from the ship, we should be able to mine this in a way that should be fairly safe. So maybe we could do a row of sideways thrust up here. We'll do a row of connectors down here with ejecting all the stone. Should we run this further? You think 10 would be enough? We're gonna be mining a lot of stone doing this. We probably want to make sure we eject it out as fast as possible. And it's not so much how many connectors you've got, it's how many sorters you've got. Because the sorters are generally the bottleneck. Probably just join that up like that. Might do some greebling or something back here to slope in behind this. Yeah, I don't know. We'll sort something out. But that should be okay. Something like that. Obviously we can't do anything on this side because it'll get demolished by this. Although I think you can place some blocks in the corner here without them getting burnt. But I think there's a cross section there that will just toast anything in its path. But yeah, I think if you place blocks like this, because the collision doesn't actually intersect with the thrust there. I think it would be okay, but don't quote me on that. I'm not 100% sure. This might get toasted. Not 100% sure. God damn it. Did it again. We could even slide some oxygen generators in there as well. And that would add a little bit of detail as well if we... Actually, I'll go back into the color picker because it makes the object solid. Yeah, so it'd add some detail to it, basically. Rather than just being flat armor. Yeah, but that's looking pretty cool, I think. Alright, so my plan is to try and build one side of this to a stage that we all agree looks half decent for a ship that has a wall of drills on the front. And then what I'll do is in between episodes, I'll replicate it on the other side as well. We might have some issues with designing the top and the bottom without having the other side, but we'll cross that bridge when it comes up. For now, let's just continue trying to get this. I don't even know what you fucking call this. It's like an exhaust. All right, so I had an idea that we could potentially put these blocks in here, which would help eliminate some of the drills that we have there. God damn it, Timmy, what the fuck are you doing? There you go. So yeah, we could do that. That looks good. And then obviously catwalk there. It's a gimme. And then probably just vent it off in that direction, I think. And call it good enough, I think. Or we could go one more. See what it looks like. It might look weird because it would essentially be these two blocks here that'd be covered up. I don't know. We'll try it out. Doesn't look too bad. Not gonna lie. Shame about those corners, but ah well. Yeah, I don't mind that. That's kind of unique. want to try moving this up. So let's go there and there. And then I have no idea what we're going to do about that. I guess we could just reverse this. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, it might be an idea for a bit of color. It's actually pretty cool. So how many O2 H2 generators is that going to be? We've got 4 there plus 3 here, and there's going to be 4 on this side. That's what, 11? 8 and 3, yep, 11. Yeah, I think that'll be good enough. Because yeah, we're not going to be able to have enough to actually run all the thrusters off it. We're going to rely on having enough fuel, which is probably dangerous, but whatever. Okay, so if that's the case, we've got all this extra space here, which we can put more batteries in. Although I don't really think we're going to need that many more. So each one can hold 12 megawatts. So we've got 48 megawatts. The only thing we're really running is those O2 H2 generators. They're 500 kilowatts each. Unknown signal. Let's get it. Get some goodies. Rainbow helmet. Nothing of value. I'm just gonna leave it, let it despawn by itself. So the sun's just about up. I've spent 2 hours actually so far building this thing. And from the front it looks hideous. But I'm kind of liking the look on the side. I think that's starting to take shape. Ah, that would look pretty cool. All right. Get rid of these two. Rather than having that as a flat edge. I'm going to slope it up. Yep. That looks better. We need like another 4 refineries, I think. But I don't want to expand this base out too much. I'm actually thinking about moving. If we jump into spectator cam real quick, we can see that the moon is all the way over there through the planet. And I'm thinking about moving over here because it's closer to the moon. And we don't need to go around it. We could just go straight up to it. So if we could find a nice big lake. Holy shit, this is a really tall peak. Nearly breaks the atmosphere. Anyway, getting sidetracked. So there is a lake here. Alright, is there another lake around here? Pretty nice lake we've got here. Wouldn't mind living like right here, overlooking the lake. What's the land like to drive around on? Extremely hilly and rough. No, it's not that bad. That's pretty bad. I know I don't have any wheeled vehicles, but I do plan on having some. So I wanted some nice terrain to drive around on. Don't want to be limited on where we can go and what we can do. We can definitely get out this way. Might be a little bit tricky to navigate this shit. But that's not bad. And we can also drive across the lake and go over this side. Oh, game's lagging a little bit. Actually, I like this area a lot better. I'd like build out here somewhere. Or over this side, and we could build into the mountain. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Right here. Let me turn my jetpack on. I'm gonna cheat for a second. Bring my character over here. And then set a GPS marker. Potential home. Yep, right there. And there it is there, 86 kilometers. This is basically the other side of the planet. Jesus Christ. Yeah, it is. Well, that's something we could do. I mean, I've never done a big move like that before in Space Engineers. I think that might be pretty cool, actually. Move everything we own over here. We're gonna have to build a fucking big spaceship to be able to do that. Or we could build a really big wheeled vehicle. That might be fun. It'd have to be a mobile base of sorts, capable of carrying a lot of weight. The spaceships, like all our ships, I could probably fly them over. The little ones I'd probably just attach to the wheeled vehicle, but I'm thinking about the big miner and stuff. Because that thing weighs 1.6 million kilograms. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. Okay, so back to this thing. Yeah, I really like those engine pods. I think they look really cool. And this sort of duct that we've got here. Alright, let's turn off those refineries before they get used. Wait until all the yield modules are done. Alright, I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm just trying different things. So I kind of want this thing to come out like that. And then I want it to slope up and spread out towards these two engine pods. So if I mimicked this side, I think the angle is going to be too shallow. It's not going to go up high enough, quick enough. Yeah, so we're going to end up with this really shallow slope that is probably going to come up to around this point here. And realistically, I want it to go like up to this point. But if I do it this way, at least I can smooth everything out. So there is that. So we can continue on with that and make it look all nice and smooth. What if we then transitioned into the 45? No, I don't like it. It looks like it's got fucking like a ball sack or something. No ball sack for you. Fucking neutered. Can't be trusted. Alright, so if we're not going to do that, what if we transition into this? Go straight into the 45s. That gives us a nice smooth transition. And then we transition into the 2x1s. Which will also be nice and smooth. And then we can stretch it out a bit, I think. Wasn't I going to add some more thrusters? I think I was going to add an extra, like just one small forward thruster. I can't stop seeing like a fucking gooch there now. Jesus Christ. Now I feel like every block I add is just adding to it. It's making it worse. That's fine. Or do we have both? I mean, we really don't need that much thrust. Was it, it'll be 14.4 times 2 plus the 48, 76.8. That's heaps. I like it though, it's fine. Let's leave it. So we will have to pipe this up now. So let's remove this one. Change it to a T intersection. T section. Maybe slope this. Slope this up. It's gonna, unfortunately, we're gonna have a fucking point, like an edge that runs down along here, but I'm sure it'll be fine. There we go. That's looking pretty cool. Let's get rid of this as well and match what we've got on the other side. Yeah, that's cool. There's a little bit of space in here where we could fit some stuff. Fuck, is it a channel that runs all the way down there? It's kind of dangerous, isn't it? Alright, well, I think we're in a pretty good position here that I can safely replicate this on the other side. It's interesting. It's an interesting ship. I have to admit, I do like it better than this one. This one is, I don't know, it feels messy because of the sporadic pattern. In fact, it doesn't even look like a pattern at first glance. It looks like it's just randomly covered in drills. Whereas this one, I don't know, it looks a lot neater. Yeah, I think that arse end is going to look good. And the scrote. The scrote looks great. Yeah, I like it. All right, we're gonna leave this episode here, guys. I hope you enjoyed the building process so far. Like I said, in between episodes, I'm gonna replicate it on the other side, and then I might even just completely finish it off, add the lights, and do all the groups and everything, so you don't have to wait for that. And then next episode, we'll take this thing out and see what it's capable of. We'll do some atmospheric based mining, and then we'll take it to the moon and get some more gold, I guess, just so we can test it out, see what re-entry is like when it weighs 7 million kilograms. All right, so that is it for this one. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. As always, don't forget to lead your targets, and I'll see you next time.